I'll use Hasan as an example. I'm not going to talk to a black person like Trihex and say, hey, the N-word, it's always black. What do you think black people...
What a fucking liar, dude. What a fucking Weasley little liar, dude. What a fucking Weasley little liar, dude.
We love landlords.
I am grossly aware of the lack of knowledge that I have.
Dude, I'm gay as hell then.
Fucking dumbass. Dude, what am I supposed to do? Die?
Yeah, kill them. Kill those motherfuckers. Let the streets soak in their fucking red capitalist bloods, dude.
What am I supposed to believe here? Look at your fucking chat. Everyone's saying Hasan. Calling me a fucking snake.
What the fuck are people saying?
I'm an idiot. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Hasan Piker!
Hasan Piker is a fully grown adult man who wears plastic beaded necklaces and talks about politics on Twitch. So Hasan basically reads Twitter threads and watches news about current political events and kind of gives his takes. So Hasan is one of the most popular Twitch streamers. He's also a very polarizing person. People tend to either really love him or really hate him. Now Hasan doesn't offer any particularly unique perspective on anything. Most of his opinions are just the same as whatever is popular on Reddit. Did you know that Hasan grew up in Turkey? It's true. He talks about it all the time.
So, I grew up in Turkey.
But usually when you hear him talk about his childhood, it's kind of from a underprivileged angle where he's like, yeah, well, I grew up in Turkey, so we didn't have all the stuff you guys have here in America.
I grew up in Turkey. We did not have access to movies when I was growing up that in a timely manner. We did not have access to video games when I was growing up in a timely manner.
When I grew up in Turkey, my whole village, we all lived in little huts, and we had one computer, and it was powered by bike pedals. So you would have to have your friend come and pedal the pedals for you in order to check your email.
And the only way I was able to enjoy all of these video games when I was growing up in Turkey was cracked video games.
When I came to America for the summers, I would spend every waking moment that I had at Borders. I would sit there and I would read every comic book I could because I was like, this is free. No one is stopping me from reading these.
Wait a minute, did he just say for the summers, plural? You're telling me this poor Turkish boy came to America every summer on vacation? So it turns out that Hasan was not very underprivileged. In fact, he comes from an extremely wealthy family. His dad was the vice president of Sabancı Holding, which is a Turkish holdings company that makes anywhere from $5 to $13.5 billion a year in revenue.
To a relatively affluent family. You know, he was like the right-hand man in a holding group. You know what I mean? He had some pretty serious jobs.
Now, allegedly, after Hasan went to college, his dad gambled away all his money on futures trading.
By the time I got to college, my dad lost everything. I'm a little murky on the details.
Well, luckily, someone took care of Hasan's college education because he went to University of Miami and then transferred to Rutgers. So we found this amazing, informative article from Cosmopolitan. Woke Bae, Hasan Piker wants your fucking attention. Wow, that title gave me syphilis. People actually call Hasan Woke Bae unironically in 2018. Like, oh my god, have you seen Woke Bae? Something needs to be done about these people. So anyways, in this article, it talks about how he went to this frat called Theta Delta Chi. I was blessed to come across this site called GreekRank.com, which has reviews of every frat at every college. So I looked at the years 2012 and 2013, which is when Hasan was there, and I found some pretty interesting reviews, to say the least. Let's check it out. Go here if you want to be groped by a bunch of pigs. Going there is like a game to see how long you can go before you have a hand shoved up your dress. These guys are so creepy. Good-looking guys, but are seriously douchebags. They act like they can do whatever they want. Went to one party and felt as if I was being molested. Ended up leaving in a half hour. They are scums, but hot scums, so I'll give them that. These group of men formed an organization known as Theta Delta Chi, which only involves drinking and getting their dicks wet. The only thing they're good at is date raping biddies. Nice house, full of tools. The guys are douches. One of them stuck his hands down my pants. I am never going to any of their parties again. They are total pigs to woman. Shame what happened to that girl at their last party. I heard IFC is coming after them. Doubt they'll be around next year. Scumbags. So obvious disclaimer, we can't prove that Hasan was a groper or a molester, but he was an aspiring pickup artist that had a blog and a YouTube series called Bro Tip. He referred to himself as the Brofessor and gave advice on how to consensually feel up girls.
And you start talking to this girl, it finally leads to hooking up, and you're bold enough to grab an ass cheek and then maybe even get some hand play downstairs. Here's why the 5-second rule works. Because when you start thinking for longer than 5 seconds, you're immediately not thinking with your dick and also thinking with this pesky thing up here that we like to call our brains.
Guys, what would you do if you saw Hasan feeling up a girl at a party? Are you okay with this? I would ask the girl, is this guy bothering you? He's even giving me the creeps. Let me know if you want to order an angel shot. You know what that means? I think it's safe to say that this douchey frat had a huge influence on his personality. He literally built his whole personality around picking up girls and drinking. Now, right out of college, Hasan was able to work for his uncle Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks. Cenk gave him a show called The Breakdown. Basically, the show consisted of these 5-minute videos about a political topic where Hasan would kind of give his take and opinion.
Pete Buttigieg. Pete Buttigieg? Booty check? Booty judge? Okay, it's really hard to say this dude's last name.
This series was basically the worst thing that Hasan ever made. It was dog shit. It was boring. It was horribly cringe. So after Hasan had to apologize on the Young Turks for saying that America deserved 9/11, I think he realized that he didn't want to be under his Uncle Cenk's thumb anymore.
I didn't say Americans deserve 9/11. I said America deserves 9/11.
Right, but that's
and
still
in that
wrong.
moment, well, maybe you can chalk it up to English being my second language or whatever you want to chalk it up to.
Hasan had other controversial moments.
A brave fucking soldier fucked his eye hole?
I could go over these and use them as ammunition against him, but I honestly don't really care. They're just an important part of Hasan's background. So essentially, Hasan is a rich kid, frat boy, nepotism baby. And at the very least, his Uncle Cenk gave him a launch pad for his career. Fortnite reference. There's a lot of things that people criticize Hasan for. Luckily, Hasan is well known for his incredibly thick skin and level-headedness when it comes to criticism.
I've gotten numb to the criticism. It's not. As a matter of fact, I seek it out now.
You just don't care. You just don't care what people think, do you? You must have a pretty huge penis. When this guy stands up and unzips his pants at the dinner table and then you just hear... Since this clip was recorded a few years ago, he has only gotten worse at handling criticism.
I have a policy of not really watching videos such as that one, specifically because it will frustrate me.
So he goes on to explain the reason that it frustrates him is because he hears the same arguments over and over. If you've heard these arguments before, why is it so frustrating? I thought that you sought out criticism. You know what people criticize about you. But what are the criticisms that people usually have for Hasan? So I hear a lot of people talk about Hasan's champagne socialism. So Hasan has benefited greatly from capitalism his entire life and continues to do so. He also indulges in capitalism far beyond what a normal person does. He has a very expensive car, he has a pretty expensive house in LA, and he wears pretty expensive clothes, all while he's preaching socialism to the normies. Now this one, I personally don't see it as that big of a deal, I guess, compared to the other stuff that he does. I understand why people shit on him for this, but I don't think this is the thing that people should really focus on. The thing that I see people talking about a lot more lately is Hasan's reporting. Hasan will report on breaking news before all the facts have settled, and he'll make some baseless claims that are later proven wrong, and then instead of correcting the record, he just continues to justify why he made those claims. Now this one I think is a great criticism. I think that Hasan presents himself as a trustworthy news source, and I do think a lot of young people get their news from him. So it is very important to recognize when he makes mistakes and how he reacts to them. Now, I see a lot of people hating on Hasan because they perceive him to be a homosexual man. Now, I don't endorse this one. This one is very homophobic, okay? These homophobes, they have all sorts of names for Hasan. They call him an F-slur. They call him a gay loser. They call him a disgusting fudge packer. So I definitely agree, although I don't really care, that he is a champagne socialist. I 100% agree with the fact that he is a bad reporter, but I think that this bad reporting is part of a broader issue with Hasan, which is his dishonesty.
This is a war against critical thinking, a battle against intellectualism.
So Hasan puts his ideology above everything else, and that includes the truth. Hasan is willing to use the dirtiest tricks to win conversations. He does everything to score points against the other person like it's a game. His goal is not to have productive conversations. His goal is to get one over on them. Hasan claims that he doesn't do debates because debates are pseudo-intellectual sparring matches.
But ultimately, I think debates are pseudo-intellectual sparring. It's like WWE for nerds.
Because all debates, for dummies who don't know this, is about rationalizing logical fallacies. This is not debate club. This is not fucking debate club where there's like actual rules that you have to follow. This is simply having a back and forth where you're owning and ritualistically humiliating your interlocutor. That's what debates are about.
I'm not surprised that this is what he thinks debates are, based on the way that Hasan is always the one trying to ritualistically humiliate his opponent. Notice how he's pulling out his Reddit vocab list while he's telling you that debates are bad. Don't I sound smart? Don't I sound smart? Trust me, bro, debates are not good. I'm smart, I would know. So Hasan has this term for people who regularly do debates. He calls them debate perverts or even debate pedophiles. And the meaning behind this term is that they're creepy and rapey, and they use creepy and rapey tactics in debates. The thing is, Hasan complains about other people being debate lords, when in reality, he is the most manipulative debater out of anyone. Hasan will even use debate tactics in a friendly conversation in order to virtue signal to his audience. Hasan refuses to engage with any narratives that might work against him. Instead, he just manipulates the conversation, shifts the goalposts, changes the topic, or completely derails the conversation altogether. I think it's safe to say that Hasan is a convicted debate sex offender, and he was caught debate diddling multiple times. In 2022, there was a scandal called Poggergate, which all started when there was a debate about gambling that was ongoing between big streamers. Mizkif and Trainwrecks were going back and forth on Twitter arguing about gambling when suddenly Trainwrecks tweeted this: "Are you going to send Maya and Mitch to railroad and blackmail me like you did those girls to cover up all those sexual assaults, you fucking scumbag piece of shit? You want to come at me and make shit up? Then you better be sure you don't live in a glass house, you insecure pussy." So in this tweet, it was alleged that Mizkif, Maya, and Mitch, 3 streamers who live in a house together, had covered up a sexual assault that took place in their home. The original incident had occurred in 2020. The victim at the time had clarified she didn't think that she had been sexually assaulted, but later down the line, she went to Trainwrecks, confided in him, and he helped her come out with the real story. A lot of people were confused at this tweet because it seemed like he was using it as ammunition, but it turns out that him and the victim were working closely together to release this story in exactly this way in order to bring it more publicity. Now, when this tweet originally came out, Hasan and Pokimane were streaming together, and they had this reaction to the news.
Oh, slick, something that crazy slick might have done. But that's still not Miz, you know?
No, I think he's just trying to find anything and everything he can, but
Your friend did some weird shit that I heard about.
So in this debate, XQC is criticizing Hasan for this initial reaction. XQC claims that Hasan and Pokimane's initial reaction was dismissive.
How did it make you involved in a way, in any capacity, that anything could get back to you? What do you thought? I said you were dismissive about it. What the fuck are you talking about? It looked dismissive, especially with the severe situation.
So rather than just addressing this criticism, Hasan tries to flip the entire conversation on XQC. He claims that this criticism is actually defamatory.
And call it a drama when it's literally fucking criminal action.
What?
That's defamation.
Hasan is framing this criticism as some serious accusation that could ruin his career, and when that doesn't work, he just says XQC's a bad guy for criticizing him. Oh, wait. No, the argument is actually that he's gaslighting.
Okay.
Straight up gaslighting behavior, brother. Holy fuck.
Oh, actually, the argument is that he's trying to just spin this in whatever way possible.
You are trying to
he's
spin
talking
this.
about some.
Oh no, actually, his argument is that he is a clout chaser.
You might have all the fucking viewers on the planet right now.
Oh no, wait. His argument is actually that he's a snake.
And that is the most fucking
snake Andy fucking behavior, dude. That is the most snake Andy behavior.
I know.
Wait, no. Never mind. He's actually talking about defamation again.
I mean, dude, this is
How
straight up
are
defamation.
you- What the fuck
This
are
is
you talking about?
defamation. I hope you recognize that.
His argument is that XQC is a psychopath and insane.
That is the most insane, unhinged fucking.
I mean-
it literally makes you look even more delusional. You understand that?
All those arguments you just saw took place in a 2-minute span within this debate. So Hasan is trying to poke holes in the conversation in any way possible. And just as a reminder, what a normal person would say is, yeah, I can tell how that looks dismissive from that clip. That's not really what I meant by it. But Hasan sees acknowledging mistakes as a failure. Then Hasan tries another angle. He tries to make it seem like XQC criticizing him is hurting the victim's story.
It could have been his skills. That's what I'm saying.
And the worst part about this is that it literally takes away from what Adriana was trying to accomplish, which was coming out.
Notice how Hasan's narrative has shifted from XQC ruining his reputation to XQC derailing the victim's story. Hasan will keep repeating throughout this conversation that he is giving the issue the seriousness it deserves, implying that XQC is not.
I don't think you understand. Like, this is a serious thing. I am going to, of course, take the seriousness that it deserves.
This is literally just gaslighting. I'm actually giving it the utmost care and respect that it deserves. He was being criticized for not being careful enough. And now he's saying, I'm giving the issue the seriousness it deserves. But Hasan will do this in conversations where he'll just state his virtues instead of actually being virtuous. Now, finally, after 3 hours, the victim herself, Adriana, joins the call to reiterate XQC's point.
In circumstances with any victim of sexual assault, these things are very common for people. Any hint in what XQC was saying earlier, any hint of doubt, any whatever he said, fucking seed, I don't know what he said earlier. Like it's not beneficial to the situation.
So Hasan then proceeds to apologize for something completely unrelated to what they're talking about.
Adriana, I want to apologize to you directly one more time. If my initial reaction in 2020...
Nobody was talking about 2020. The clip that I showed you was the day before this debate. So that was 2022.
If that came across as being dismissive, because that was, I think, the clip that you were pointing to.
No, it wasn't.
Was operating off of your words.
Just shifting all the blame off of himself, saying, oh, it was just the way that you said it. That's why I thought this. I don't understand why he feels the need to qualify this. You're literally already apologizing. You might as well apologize for the thing that you're actually being criticized for.
I'm sorry that I did not know that they were, those words were heavily pushed by social pressures.
So throughout this conversation, Hasan has been incredibly dishonest. He uses tactics to try to reframe the conversation and shift the goalposts, and he tries to flip the whole thing on XQC. All he needs to do is confront the fact that he was a little bit dismissive, but he can't do that because it's a narrative that might make him look bad. The dishonesty makes him look way worse than anything that he was being criticized for in this debate. WillyMacShow is a YouTuber that recently released multiple videos criticizing Hasan mainly for his bad reporting. Hasan was starting to get a little agitated because a lot of people were coming into his chat and asking him to watch Willy's videos. So instead of just watching the videos, Hasan decides to start beefing with Willy on Twitter. Willy says, I realistically could make a third Hasan video. That's how deep the contradictions go. His spine is made of paper. He's a man with no principle. He just wants to be seen as right, while people pog out in chat. Then Hasan replies, I'd love to hear your incredibly sound analysis on Israel. Please come on the stream and enlighten me on your perspective. Willy replies saying, I made a video on you. Why would I debate Israel-Palestine? Lamau, just do some of that classic Hasan Abi on-the-ground journalism and watch my videos. Willy says, I made 2 videos documenting Hasan's poor reporting, content theft, lies, and demonization of his critics. And instead of watching the videos and engaging with them, he wants me to go debate Israel-Palestine. Classic Hasan Abi. Hasan replies, calling him Willy No-Show. And to that, Willy replies, all right, give me the link. So it's obvious that the issue that Hasan has with Willy is the fact that he made videos criticizing him. However, Hasan hasn't even watched the videos. Instead, he wants Willy to explain to him the point in his videos.
Did you watch the videos?
No, of course not. You made the video. I'm not
that-
like debating a random person about a video I didn't watch. You made the fucking video. So let's hear.
I know, but
what
that
your
kind of like
gripes
that kind
are.
of links up to like my big criticism with you, is that you don't actually put in the bare minimum effort to research anything before you jump to conclusions.
Do you really consider me watching a fucking dumbass YouTube video
Yes.
from a drama farming channel to be doing research?
That's the topic of the conversation. Of course that's doing research. You want to call and talk to him about why you don't like his videos. Throughout this debate, it becomes abundantly clear that Hasan is not going to engage with any of the criticisms. He is just trying to make WillyMac look as bad as possible in order to discredit his videos. And one of the ways he does this is by trying to shift the topic to politics. So right here, you'll see him try to change the topic to Willy's personal opinion on Ukraine.
Do you think that bombing Kyiv specifically, it was what Russia did? Do you think that that was a good thing for Russia to do?
What's funny is this actually works on a lot of people. You would be really surprised at how often Hasan gets people to go on these tangents. If Hasan was doing this to someone less prepared and it worked on them, it would be harder to notice unless you were looking for it. So my point here is that he does this a lot more than people realize. It's not just this conversation. He's like this in almost every debate. Now, Hasan even doubles down on it and tries to literally tell him, no, we're having a conversation about Ukraine. But Willy doesn't take the bait on that either.
Hold up. We're having a conversation about Ukraine and Russia. We're having a conversation about Ukraine and Russia, and I'm asking you a specific question. I'm asking you a specific question.
My conversation's about you because my videos are about you and your pattern of behavior and your poor reporting, and now you're trying to shift it all these other ways.
Then Hasan intentionally misinterprets his argument and says that it's just tone policing.
Yeah, okay. You don't.
Yeah,
so is this all just tone policing? Is that what it is?
You're talking about.
Is this all? So all of this is just you personally tone policing the way I'm covering the fucking news?
Policing.
I think to the average person, it's very clear what Willy's argument is. You're a bad reporter, and you need to be more responsible with your reporting. That's pretty straightforward.
It's about your.
Do you have any
reporting.
genuine interest or any curiosity in like Russia and Ukraine at all, or is all you do fucking drama farming off of clips?
So this is where Hasan tries to discredit Willy by saying, oh, you're just a drama farmer. Hasan does this a lot with different terms like fascist, drama farmer, neoliberal. He's basically saying, well, are we going to actually talk about Ukraine? Or are you just a stupid drama farmer? It's a false dichotomy. He is so desperate. He is so desperate to change the topic, and he can't do it. So he just gets more and more frustrated and tries more and more things to try to save the conversation and somehow come out on top.
Everything, it seems, that goes against whatever narrative you want to frame is irrelevant in your opinion. So yeah, no wonder you want me to just watch the fucking YouTube video and sit in the goddamn shadows. Everything is irrelevant. WillyMac, thank you so much for your ethics in video game journalism or your ethics in conflict reporting.
Thanks for coping by just saying stuff out of context.
Okay, yeah, you got me, dude. You fucking owe me. Okay, thanks for coping, he says. All right, Jesus Christ.
So this is like his last attempt to paint Willy as a bad guy. So he's like, you're making arguments just like Gamergaters do. So Hasan tried everything in the book to derail this conversation and get Willy to argue about anything else, but Willy was very well prepared and he stuck to his points and forced Hasan to confront them. The public perception of this debate was horrible. This was a terrible look for Hasan. This video was re-uploaded by a fan channel, and the like to dislike ratio on a Hasan fan channel is like insane. Like everyone downvotes it. All the comments are shitting on Hasan and talking about how bad he did in this debate. I just think this debate really highlights his dishonesty in a way where it's very obvious to the average viewer. Here's our case study with Ethan Klein. So Ethan is a YouTuber that made funny videos in like 2016, 2017, and in his effort to become more political and to pander to lefties more, he became friends with Hasan. Ethan and Hasan had a show together called Leftovers. It was meant to be a lighthearted political commentary show where they make fun of right-wingers. However, for the last few months, they began having more and more disagreements on stream. This included topics such as Taiwan versus China, intellectual property, and even socialism versus social democracy. By the way, in some of these debates, Hasan was kind of a pussy about some of the topics. He didn't want to state his real opinion for some reason.
What's your opinion? Taiwan independent?
My opinion on Taiwan is that Taiwan is the Chinese concept of Taiwan should remain in the hands of the people in Taiwan who
So therefore
believe
it's independent.
who for the record, for the most part, just believe to not disrupt the ongoing.
But by the time it came to their differences in the Israel-Palestine conflict, Hasan decided to drop a debate roofie in Ethan's drink and unleash his full-blown debate rape on him. So for context, Ethan and Hasan are both very pro-Palestine. Now, Ethan used to live in Israel, so he has a little bit of empathy for the Israeli civilians and Jews around the world. In this debate, Ethan is explaining to Hasan why Jews find the phrase "from the river to the sea" to be anti-Semitic, or find it to call for the destruction of Israel. Hasan is trying to argue that there's nothing wrong with the statement, so he shows Ethan a group called Jewish Voice for Peace that claim that the statement is perfectly fine. Ethan says, well, that doesn't really prove that the statement isn't anti-Semitic because you can find people from any group to support anything.
Jews themselves in America using this anti-Zionist slogan indicates that this slogan isn't one that is about the evisceration of Jews. If that was the case, then they wouldn't use it.
There was Jewish collaborators with fucking Nazis.
Hasan intentionally misconstrues Ethan's argument as Jewish Voice for Peace are like Nazis.
Ethan, don't do that, please. Don't say that the Jews' Voice for Peace are akin to capos. Like,
that is how he presents it to his audience. Ethan clarifies his point multiple times, but Hasan chooses to stick to his narrative of, wow, he's making a comparison between Jewish Voice for Peace and capos.
And therefore, comparing them to capos is, like, I think very inappropriate.
Dude, no. My point in comparing them is to say you can find support on any movement by anybody. I want to see all
here, this is from Jewish Voice for Peace Action.
But again,
these guys are capos?
It's really, okay.
Do you think these guys are capos?
Despite the fact that Ethan has already clarified his point to him multiple times, Hasan sticks onto this point really hard. If he sticks to this point, he's able to paint a narrative that Ethan is being unreasonable and making insane comparisons. After this happens for the third time, Ethan directly calls out the bad faith.
You literally implied that Jewish Voice for Peace would be akin to a capo in this circumstance.
Oh, you are fucking so bad faith for saying that, and fuck you for even like putting that out in the world. That was not my point.
Made this comparison.
My point was that you can find anybody to defend any fucking thing. That was my point.
Bro, you literally said that they were exactly like Nazis. You can't just call the good guys Nazis. The bad guys are the Nazis.
But anyone else that says something like that, it's going to come across, especially from the people that don't know who you are and what you represent, it's going to come across like you are making a bad faith argument that Ben Shapiro would make or any number of other conservatives would make in this circumstance. Of course people feel this way because they don't see your reconciliation process.
So by Hasan's logic, okay, he's making a comparison between Ethan and Ben Shapiro. That means that he's equating Ethan with Ben Shapiro.
Can you do you care that your chat is calling me racist? Do you make any attempt to modify?
I have not looked at my chat.
Moderate that at all?
I have not looked at my chat at all. But
this is like such a non-answer. He is saying, do you care that these people in your chat are saying this about me? And Hasan says, oh, I don't know anything about that. I don't know. By the way, Hasan expects other people to moderate their chats for him.
And all these other content creators actually, whipping their communities when their chat is going fucking absolutely bananas and bringing my name up for no fucking reason. That you were just allowing that shit to run rampant in your chat. And I thought that was fucked up. I think that's a reasonable expectation for someone who you consider to be a friend.
Fair enough.
But
I just opened it, but don't you have moderators? Do you care at all about what your audience says about me?
There's 32,000 people in here right now. The reason why people are saying that is because of the conflations that you made, Ethan.
I'm not calling you racist. I'm just saying that you're saying things that racist people say.
And that's why, I can't stop people from viewing you a certain way if you're gonna make these comparisons that they've heard from actually racist people.
These reactions are a direct result of his rhetoric and the example that he is setting for his audience. I wonder why everyone in his chat, including his moderators, started calling Ethan racist. It's almost like Hasan is teaching his audience to call people racist, genocidal pigs all the time.
You fucking baying pig! You fucking bloodthirsty, violent pig dog! Change title? IDF didn't bomb the hospital? Yes, it did! Yes, it fucking did! You fucking piece of shit! Yes, it absolutely did! Fuck you! Fuck you!
Hasan's intentional dishonesty in this conversation led his audience to believe that Ethan was a racist, genocidal Zionist. He co-signs Ethan being called a racist by just saying, your arguments seem like something a racist person would say, so I can't really blame them. I think that Ethan realized in this conversation the lengths that Hasan is willing to go. Any narratives that might work against Hasan, he refuses to engage in. Hasan will make these moral judgments of other people in order to paint himself as the most moral person.
Here and there.
Bro, I don't want to cancel you. I want you to be a good person. I want you to be like 2019 XQC.
I just really want the best for you, little bro. I just want you to start being a good person. He's talking down to him to make it seem like he's giving him some sort of life lesson. He does this in order to put himself up on a pedestal.
Because I know you personally and because I know you're an empathetic person.
I know you're a good guy because I'm a good guy. And I see other good guys and I say to myself, that's a good ass guy right there.
No, please don't get mad at me. I'm gonna be
100. Moron. You just talked down to me the whole time.
No, absolutely not. I think you're a very smart person, but you do get a little emotional on this issue.
No, I'm not talking down to you. See, I think you're smart. I think you're a genius, actually. And I just called you empathetic. Didn't you hear me? I'm just like complimenting you. I'm saying like you're good, bro. Hasan loves talking about charitability.
There's no charity, charitability, uncharitably to you, uncharitability, charitably.
So the obvious implication is he's thinking about charitability all the time. He must be very conscious of trying to be charitable to others. But then when it comes to a debate, Hasan is the least charitable person on the planet. Hasan loves talking about how good of a person he is.
I lead by empathy first. Whether it be something as innocuous or something as like irrelevant overall as cancel culture, or something as serious as even criminal charges. This is something that is at the heart of my political worldview, my political ideology, my fucking commentary in general.
In my experience, it's a huge red flag when someone tells you about how virtuous they are, because most people don't need to brag about that. They can just demonstrate that they're a good person. Usually if people tell you a lot about the good traits that they have, it's a sign that they don't actually have those traits.
Okay, but in order for someone to even start getting a second chance, they have to recognize that they're in the wrong.
Isn't that so empathetic and charitable of him? He gives people a second chance, but only if they tell him that they're wrong. Hasan's audience is Twitch viewers, and a lot of Twitch viewers go from just watching people stream games to watching Hasan stream. For a lot of these people, I think that Hasan is like their doorway to politics. He's like the first person that gets them into politics, and I think that makes them very impressionable. So not only is Hasan setting a bad example by the way that he treats others and his dishonesty, he intentionally cultivates his community to look down on people who disagree with him. Hasan will point out disagreements in chat, pull up their message on screen, and make it seem like the most ridiculous thing in the world.
What a fucking loser this partner is, dude. What a fucking loser this partner is, dude.
Coincidentally, every time Hasan does this, the whole rest of his chat joins in an angry mob attacking that person. Almost like they all miraculously agree with him all the time.
What about homeless Americans? Man, suck my fucking cock. Stop talking shit about nothing you know about. Bitch, what the fuck? The only time you ever bring up homeless Americans is when you want to fucking shit on black and brown migrants, dude.
So this sort of mob mentality creates a social reward for agreeing with Hasan. On top of this, Hasan and his moderators are very heavy-handed when it comes to giving out bans. These two things just discourage you from typing out disagreements. So this only further contributes to his community being a hive mind. Having a bad opinion is the worst possible sin in Hasan's community. If you've ever known a friend that likes Hasan, you've probably noticed this pattern in them too. Having friends that start watching Hasan is sort of like having friends that are diagnosed with AIDS. It's like, You feel bad for them, but you know they did it to themselves. Hasan acts like he's the arbiter of morality. He convinces his audience that his opinions are the only acceptable moral positions.
Those people are in the wrong. These people that are saying from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, are not in the wrong. They're in the right. That's the major difference. They are morally righteous.
These guys are good guys, and those guys are bad guys. One thing that I've noticed about Hasan's audience is that a lot of them just repeat his talking points. Are there any valid criticisms of Hasan? All the ones I hear are bad faith or debate lord talking points that aren't valid. But I understand no one is perfect. I just don't see any flaws in anything he's doing at the moment. This is an example of something that Hasan drills into his community. Oh, none of the criticisms are valid. They're all just debate lords. They all are in bad faith. People just don't like me because of anti-Hasan shit.
Like, the only ideological value, the only like rudder that is guiding many of the people who hate me is just like anti-Hasan shit. It's more so like, I don't really care about anything. I just want to fucking see you crash and burn. Like, I hate you.
Wow, this is a charitable Hasan at work here. They just want to see me crash and burn for no reason other than that they just hate me. And if you're wondering why people just believe him at face value, it's because he fosters his community that way. He teaches them that he is always right. He teaches them that anyone who disagrees with him is wrong. Then they see all these people in chat agreeing with him on everything, and therefore they see him as a trustworthy source of information. This teaches people not to think for themselves. It teaches them that if your opinion isn't popular, you're wrong. It teaches people not to critically analyze information, not to come to their own conclusions, and to trust one person as a news source. I think that as a political streamer, especially when your audience is so impressionable, you should be teaching them to think for themselves and how you came to your conclusions, not just to copy what you say. When I try to talk to Hasan fans about politics, they typically use the same sort of tactics that Hasan uses, except usually these people are much worse at it than Hasan. So basically, I think that Hasan is frying his audience's brain cells and making them retarded. I actually simplified this segment just for Hasan fans. So if you're a fan of Hasan, just watch this part. You will unsubscribe from Hasan and subscribe to Jar Juice on YouTube. Jar Juice is cool and Hasan is lame. I literally cannot tell if that was funny or if that was just really autistic, but I'm just gonna keep it in. Basically, I think that Hasan is just a complete fraud. I think a lot of the things he talks about are rooted in dishonesty. I think that he's a manipulative debater, and I think that he sets a horrible example for his audience. I think that more people need to learn to critically analyze information and come to their own conclusions rather than just copying it from some influencer. And his necklaces are gay. Subscribe or I will do something drastic. If you like the thumbnail for this video, the artwork was done by my friend Gummo Nevada. He's taking commissions. If you want to contact him for a commission, his link tree is in the description.